Okay guys, some exciting news. Ram RHOs are getting built, getting in transit, and actually showing up in customers' hands. I'm going to show a few pictures. I had some friends send me some pictures this week, seeing RHOs loaded up on trailers. That's exciting for us that have been waiting forever. But as any time there is a launch of a new vehicle, some hiccups are showing up. I've been reading some of the different Facebook pages and some of the different forums. Some people are having a few little grumblings, a few little issues. I haven't read about anybody being stranded, but I'll be curious to see what comes of this. And I'm watching this stuff, so I'm going to try to keep up to date of issues with the hurricane. And I also want to talk about some information people have been spreading. There's a lot of different YouTubers talking about, oh my gosh, the hurricane's such a pile of crap, blah, 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 blah. Spreading news about bad thermostats, bad water pumps, this, that, and the other. Guys, there's been 4 different iterations of this water pumps, specifically the thermostats already made. And from what I'm hearing, and I'm trying to confirm this with Chrysler Direct, my understanding is the generation of the thermostat that is on the Ram 1500, not the Wagoneer, not the Grand Wagoneer, is the 3rd or 4th revision, where supposedly they have not having any issues on the Ram Hurricane. I'll be curious, leave comments down below if you have a Hurricane, or maybe even had a Hurricane in a Wagoneer, Grand Wagoneer, where you're having issues with the water pump or thermostat. But from what I'm being told from some pretty decent sources, this issue is resolved on the Wagoneer, Grand Wagoneer, prior to the making it to the Ram 1500. So let's dive into this. Okay, first, this is proof of what I've been saying. These trucks are getting built. We expected this to happen. Everybody just wish it would have happened a lot sooner. If you go nationwide right now, look, there are 10 Ram RHOs that are either being built or are in transit, or in some cases on a dealer lot. Here at Jim Butler, Lynn, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, about 500 miles from me, they have one on a dealer lot. Here's another one in transit. So this is great news. And what's funny too, I'm really curious if we look at their VIN numbers on these trucks. I was just looking at some of these, 3378. Generally speaking, the first like 14 characters on the VIN number is pretty much just consistent across the model year, the vehicle lineup. There's not a whole lot of difference there, but I think the last 4 digits are kind of like the build number, because if you see this one, 1799, this next one is 1800. We go up to the very top. Look at this, is a 3275, sorry, not that one, 8287, 8285, and a 8286. So you can tell they're kind of building these things in series. And looking at every one of these I've seen so far, these are higher trim package trucks. I've not seen one of these things in a $70,000 range, which tells me level 1 trucks must be getting priority. Now, here's the other thing, guys, I want to kind of talk to you guys about. So this right here, you guys see this number right here, CCAP 26B1AB. This is the latest revision. This is what I'm told right now, is the latest revision thermostat. And actually, I take that back. This was the latest revision I was aware of, but I'm already told this is bumped to a revision level AD. So there's already been multiple revisions of the thermostat for the Hurricane. Everything I'm being told, and if I'm wrong, I'll make a video and I'll tell you guys I'm wrong, but from the sources I'm hearing, the latest revision on the Ram 1500's RHO is the latest version, and they're not having any issues with that. It was typically specific to the Hurricanes back in the day. Here's a comment on the Wagoneer fans site from about 8 months ago, and people are talking about their 23 Grand Wagoneer with the stuck thermostat, and people saying, hey, are you seeing this? Other people, yes. This is about 9 months ago. I saw some people saying they're getting the later revision, not having problems. So that hopefully gives you a little peace of mind if you got a high output Hurricane coming. That gives you a little peace of mind for the high output Hurricane coming. But this is what I'm more thinking about. This to me is the number 1 priority right now, is how is it impacting the RHO. If you go over to Ram-RHO forum, this is a really great little forum I spent some time on. Some guys are talking about horsepower and just the range for fuel economy. No surprise, people are saying they're getting about 14, 15 miles per gallon. One guy said 13 city. I think that's very, very accurate, because when I've talked about fuel economy on these trucks before, where if you look at the fuel economy of the TRX versus the RHO, I think the RHO numbers personally are a little bit high, but I hope that the numbers are accurate. I've talked about fuel economy on the RHO and my expectations quite a bit on this channel. I still think these numbers are a little bit high. I don't think we're going to see the numbers that are published here. If you look though, the numbers do kind of fall in between what the TRX is and what the F-150 is at. But even the numbers for the F-150, I've rarely gotten 18 miles per gallon. I've rarely gotten 16 miles per gallon. And typically the Ford powertrains are more efficient than Ram. I'll be surprised if this is a 15 mile per gallon truck. I think it's probably going to be more like a 12, 13 mile per gallon truck. The thing though I'm more concerned about, guys, is this misfiring after 475 miles. Some people are having some misfires, some low voltage battery issues. Could be because they've been sitting on lots and quality checks. Not really sure, but I'm going to keep my eyes on that. Check out this page if you guys are interested. It's a really good site to check out. There's also some good Facebook pages. I'm going to be popping some stuff on there as well. So to ease your guys' minds a little bit, I spoke to 3 different people that have Hurricane 1500s that were early 2025 Ram 1500 Hurricanes, the 3 liters, multiple trim levels, as well as different gear ratios. These guys got between 5 and 10,000 miles on their truck. Generally speaking, they love the powertrain. Super quiet, great fuel economy. The only thing that all of them have said is, if they came from a Hemi, we kind of missed the sound of the Hemi. But you know what? Everything else we like better. They like the little changes in interior. Luckily, none of them have had misfire issues. None of them have had thermostat issues. None of them have had water pump issues. None of them have had battery issues. One of them has had a problem with a power steering issue. They got resolved finally, but he's already towed multiple times this year about a 7,000 pound travel trailer. No problem with it. So that's a good peace of mind. So I don't think, some of these people, maybe some of the first RHOs to hit the ground had some slight little issues. I don't think I'd be too worried, but it is something we need to keep our eyes on. And I'm going to be watching this stuff like a hawk to keep you guys up to date with this as well. To add another layer of research for you guys, I've talked to 4 different service advisors, or they run the service departments for 4 completely different dealerships within a 200-mile range of me, asking them. And these are large dealers, by the way. And these are dealers I have a relationship with, so they wouldn't be dishonest with me. They'd have no reason to. But I've asked them, I said, have you guys had any hurricanes in for any problems in the Ram 1500s yet? And they said, no, fortunately we haven't. And actually, generally, they've been pretty good. We've had several in for oil changes. No one seems to be complaining about this. They seem to be really smooth. I have heard, they did mention that they've heard some people having, maybe they got to learn a new interface, something, I don't know, with the Uconnect. Not relevant to the Hurricane powertrain, but generally everybody's been happy. And one of the service guys actually owns, he bought it, not leased it, a Hurricane, and he seems to be a diehard Mopar guy, V8 guy. He came from a Hemi, and he's like, dude, I freaking love this new Hurricane. I think it's awesome. Yes, I missed the tone of the V8, but I'd take everything else about this better than the last Hemi he had. And he didn't have problems with his last Hemi. It was a good engine, but he still likes this that much better, and he's got 15,000 miles on his truck. To add another level of this, I'm also talking to some of my network inside of Chrysler and trying to understand from an engineering perspective, are there anything we need to be worried about? Everything I've been finding out is with the Hurricane, this stuff, even though we've been seeing all the stuff on the news with Stellantis and some of the stuff going on that makes some of us feel a little bit uncomfortable, this motor was developed so long ago, like literally like 6-7 years ago, that this thing is super robust and no one seems to be really concerned about the Hurricane. So I hope this eases your guys' minds a little bit, just sharing RHO content. But generally speaking, I think we're getting darn near close. Unfortunately for me, guys, my truck order processed 7-8 months ago. Still no delivery date. You can kind of check order and all the other good stuff. But yeah, it's a big bummer. I'm going to be in a pickle here soon if this thing doesn't show up in like the next week or two, where I'm going to be forced to probably make a pivot, unfortunately, and I'll have to get the RHO at a later time period if it's going to be 3 to 4 or 5 months from now. I'll still be doing RHO content, and if the thing comes in, maybe I'll just still pick it up and have another truck to do some reviews on. But I do have to have a pickup truck. I've waited long enough. So anyhow, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. More good stuff to come on this. Thanks for watching.